When it rains, it pours, and in the NFL, a loss always leads to some sort of drama, but most times it comes from outside. This time, it came from an Instagram post, and it's concerning. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/allsteelerstalk and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Today, we are talking about a social media post that exploded Pittsburgh Steelers headlines and is very worrisome for this team as they march forward. A blowout loss to the San Francisco 49ers is obviously going to spark plenty of controversy and plenty of conversation. Anybody with a Twitter account, a YouTube page, a mouth has the ability and probably used it to comment on the Pittsburgh Steelers' loss to the 49ers in week one. And everybody and anybody shared their opinion on whose fault it was that the Pittsburgh Steelers were unable to do anything on offense once again in week one as they start the 2023 season. Kenny Pickett, Matt Canada, under fire, obviously. The Matt Canada fire train, or the fire Matt Canada train, I guess, has never been hotter. It has never been moving quicker, and it has never had so much support behind it. Meanwhile, Kenny Pickett probably had the worst game of his NFL career, and there are a lot of people that are skeptical about whether or not this guy is the franchise quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers and has the capabilities of being the guy that everybody wants and needs him to be in Pittsburgh. But there was one name that I did not expect to jump on this bandwagon and jump on this train, especially this early in the season. And while Mike Tomlin and Najee Harris and Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick and all of the veterans are trying to range in the team and just start to prepare for week two and keep everything calm so that they could just march forward and begin another week of preparation without any drama, the season is still very much so alive. Well, one player, he got caught slipping, and things are worrisome. That player is George Pickens, who posted on his Instagram a video of him making another highlight reel catch against the 49ers. A catch that, just added to the resume of unreal catches that this guy continues to make throughout his young NFL career. Unfortunately, it wasn't a touchdown. If it was a half a second earlier, it probably would have been, which leads us to the comment by a random fan on Instagram who just says, quote, "Nobody to get that man the ball, though." And you just think, yeah, typical. Fans are going to be fans. People are going to comment. That's just part of sports. That's part of the NFL. It's part of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Steelers Nation. People are going to make their opinion known, even if their opinion isn't agreed upon by everybody. You want to know who was agreed upon by? George Pickens, who liked the comment and then had this to say in response, and we'll dive into it in a second, but his words must be spoken, and we must talk about them.
An Instagram post about not getting you the ball.
Yeah, I seen that. I never even, my comments aren't even on my Instagram. So, I don't even know how that even, somebody would screenshot it or added it themselves. But you can't even tag me.
So you didn't hit like?
No, I don't even got no comments. I don't got no comments on my Instagram. You can't mention me or tag me.
Here's my thoughts. If George Pickens is attacking Kenny Pickett, there's a serious problem, not with Kenny Pickett, but with George Pickens. I get it. The guy's a superstar. I get it that Kenny Pickett has major question marks. And if you're going to pick one or the other to stick around with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, well, if you're going off of talent alone, George Pickens is head and shoulders above keeping Kenny Pickett. But in the scheme of the NFL and how NFL organizations operate, the quarterback is always going to hold that upper hand. Key example, Ben Roethlisberger gets in trouble. Santonio Holmes gets in trouble. Who's gone? Santonio Holmes. If Kenny Pickett and George Pickens are beefing, you want to know who's gone? George Pickens. Unless Kenny Pickett just throws it all away before that actually happens. But I'm not necessarily sure that George Pickens and Kenny Pickett have any beef. I don't know if this comment was directed at Kenny Pickett. I'm sure it was, but I don't know if George believed that his like on the comment, or I guess he denied it, his alleged like on the comment was directed at Kenny Pickett. What I believe is that it possibly was directed at Matt Canada. and that at this point he has had enough with the Pittsburgh Steelers play caller and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense failing to do anything at all. I'm somebody who's been a big proponent over the past 24 to 48 hours about how Matt Canada didn't necessarily call a great game against the San Francisco 49ers, but I'm not putting the loss and the lack of offensive success on him. I'm putting that on Kenny Pickett. I thought Kenny Pickett played the worst game of his NFL career. I thought he looked inaccurate. I thought he looked shook. I thought he looked slow with his reads. And I thought all around the guy just looked worse than he did when he stepped onto the football field against the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles and the Miami Dolphins the first 3 times he started for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022. But after 3 years, 2 with George Pickens, 2 with Kenny Pickett, I guess a year in a game, but this is year 2 with both of them, I could see where the frustration lies, and I could see why it's so high, and I could see why players are going to lash out, because last year they tried to. There were little tidbits here and there of guys saying things like, we don't have an identity, and guys saying things like, well, you know, it's not the players, it's not the talent. We have the talent. It was overemphasized how the Pittsburgh Steelers have the talent, and that locker room is full of guys who are capable of playing. But then after a while, it was like, okay, well, we got to start defending Matt Canada too. And then after a while after that, it was, well, we sat down during the bye week and we really had a conversation about how this is where we need to go and this is the direction we need to be in and this is the identity we need to find. And then all of a sudden, the Pittsburgh Steelers were fine. Maybe the guys weren't so fine with Matt Canada. And I think it's too early in the season to start firing anybody. I don't think Matt Canada's job should be on the line after one bad performance where the entire team played bad. Maybe the entire team outside of the wide receiver core and the tight ends, but where the offense as a whole stunk and the defense didn't do much better. I think it's too early in the season. But if I had to take a guess, the drama's only going to get worse. And you're going to be dealing with another Chase Claypool situation, and you're going to be dealing with another AB situation, and you're going to be dealing with another Big Ben situation, and you're going to be dealing with all of this nonsense, all of this talk, especially in today's day and age where social media is the most relevant thing possible, and everybody has a social media account. And guess what? Anything you post on there, it'll get captured. People will know, and they will know forever. It is not as if George Pickens didn't go and unlike that comment, because he did. He went and unliked the comment. It's not if these guys tweet these things or say these things and then they are able to go back and erase their words. They're not in today's day and age. People screenshot that in 2 seconds. There are too many eyes on these guys. The drama is always elevated, and it's going to get so much worse for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they don't figure this out. And again, I don't think it means you fire Matt Canada, but I think you have to have a real conversation about where this team's headed, what direction you're going to allow it to go in, and how much nonsense you're willing to put up with between now and fixing the problem or removing the problem. I don't know if that problem is Matt Canada. I don't know if that problem is George Pickens. I don't know if that problem is Kenny Pickett. I have no idea. What I do know is that if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're getting rid of George Pickens before you get rid of Matt Canada, you're not thinking that one through. And if you're getting rid of your quarterback that you took in the first round a year ago before you get rid of your offensive coordinator, you're not following the rules of the NFL and how teams operate, at least successful teams. Canada's the first one on that list, and I'm not advocating for him to go. I think he deserves his job right now. I think he looked really good in the preseason. I think he looked really good in training camp, and I think that the team has confidence in him. They didn't put it on the field, and maybe one guy is frustrated with it, but where this goes determines a lot about where the Pittsburgh Steelers are headed in 2023. Is this a team that's going to rise to the occasion and continue to build and possibly be a team that does meet those expectations of a playoff team and a team that could make a push against really talented teams by the end of the season? Or is it going to be a team that crumbles and is full of drama and is full of negative headlines? We're going to find out soon, but 1 week in, this is not where you want to be. Let the drama begin. I hope it settles. I hope the dust figures itself out. And I hope the Pittsburgh Steelers are all good and happy after a win against the Cleveland Browns. But a loss against the Cleveland Browns and another poor offensive performance, I'd bet a lot of money that we're going to figure out just where everybody's head lies, and we're going to see some words and hear some words and see some posts about maybe some stuff that the Pittsburgh Steelers hoping did not come to light, especially this early in the season.